Well, hello and welcome to the next episode of Woodward's Watercolours. Now, I am seriously enjoying demoing products. It is just something that I find really exciting and interesting, and also being just honest about what you think about it. So today we have these Derwent Graphitint Paint Pan Set. Now, a girl in the watercolour class that I teach was using them, and I was looking at them thinking these seem really interesting, and I really do enjoy Derwent's products. So let's have a look at these together. Now, I got these, ordered them from Amazon. I think they were about £21, and pretty pleased with that because I know Derwent products aren't really that cheap, although of course you can pay more if you want to have other things. But let's have a go together with these Graphitint Paint Pan Set. Come on, let's try it out. Okay, so here we are. We have our little Graphitint Paint Pan Set. Now, I have opened it but not actually opened it or used it, so always find those wee tabs a little bit frustrating at times because it ends up ripping the box, but you have to let go of the box. I always remember at Christmas time I was trying to keep everything pretty perfect. So anyway, the box on the back just shows you the different tones of colour that you have, which whenever you see these, it does look pretty surprising that actually you could possibly be able to get those kind of tones out of it. So it has this little protective layer. Now, you would think we could do this more delicately and efficiently as like this unboxing thing, and we got it. Okay, and then you have these pens. Now, what I want to say about these pens is that I'm a flat brush fan, as many of you know. I really pretty much exclusively use flat brushes because they're so versatile. So they give you this wee water brush, and it's got this round point on it. I would never use it. It's far too detailed and it just isn't my type of brush really. Nice wee gadget. Obviously it's got this stopper, so you fill this up with water, and then you put the stopper in, and then it obviously fits neatly into your little pack here. So nice attachment, but it'd be great if there was maybe a consideration for a flat edge brush, because now I've done several videos about these things, but on a flat edge brush you've got this line you can make, you've got the detail of the corner, and then just the ability to use it horizontally, whereas with the brush that is the round head brush, you've really not got very much options. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to swatch these colors out, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Okay, so the first one on the left is Autumn Brown. Now, I have the other set of tinted charcoal, and they take a little bit of agitation, so it'll be really interesting to me to see, does this require as much agitation? So just taking a little bit of water, just dropping it on top. So this is Autumn Brown. Whoa, now doesn't that have a pop? Interesting. One of the things that's nice to do is to take some of the, just drop and see how dark it is, so we're getting the kind of full array. Okay, the next one is called, need my glasses on, called Russet. In fact, let me put my glasses on, and that would make life a whole lot easier. I'm not at the stage where I can't see without them, but I definitely see clearer with them. So this one is Russet. Oh, no, that's a lovely tone. So that's kind of like your yellow ochre. Next one is Meadow, so I'm expecting a green. It's a very vibrant green. So these are really somewhat akin to the likes of their ink tints, but these are Graphitint. Okay, so this one's called Green Grey. Oh, that's lovely. Very nice, Derwent. I am impressed. This next one is called Slate Green. Oh, you're talking about, this is my tonal range. This next one is Ocean Blue. Now, these are not taking much agitation at all. That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And the one thing I know about them from the girl in the class is that she had done some work, and they dry with this like a glossy film over it, which is interesting. This one is Steel Blue. That is magnificent. That is holding the pigment well. Now I'm going to run out of space here. Next one is Dark Indigo. Beautiful. Isn't it amazing how the colours are popping much more than how they look in the little half pans? The little half pans don't look like very much at all. This one is called Aubergine. These are obviously very similar tonal ranges. These last, actually, these ones here seem very, very similar. This obviously stands out much more. That, let me check, that's a steel blue. So that last one there is Aubergine. And we're going to have Juniper next. I assume from the juniper berry, so it's going to be a nice purpley kind of color. Interesting. Okay, next one is Port. I assume like the alcoholic drink. That's a lovely one. And then we're going to have to do the last one at the top. I do apologize. This one's called Graphite Grey. So it's a very, very kind of neutral grey. Okay, so now let's have a look. So if I actually hold them this way, you probably see them a lot better. So I'm using the my beloved See What I've Brightened cold pressed A4 paper, well cut down A4 paper. And it obviously has the bumps in it, which really exposes quite nicely. If I can pull that up even closer for you. Just exposes quite nicely how that is settling. So aren't they rather nice? So what we're going to do next is I have printed off my little reference image, and we're going to experiment with this. Now it's going to really abstract the colors because of the range that's present here, which I really quite like, and we're going to try and mix them and just see how we go. So let me get organized and we'll get to painting a little reference scene together. Okay, so here's the reference image. This is from Belfast, around by the Ulster Museum, if you've ever been there, in the beautiful autumn about a month or so ago. So we've got lots of different tones, just seemed like the right one to do. I am using, this paper is not the usual sea white. This is Montmarte cotton watercolor paper pad, and it's A5. It was, I can't remember the price. I think it was like £2 or £3 in TK Maxx or TJ Maxx if you're in the States. 200 GSM, which is an awful lot thinner, and I wouldn't really recommend 200 GSM because it is that bit thinner, but it'll work really, really well for the cotton. If you can hear that shaking, it's my beloved Bonnie in the background, isn't it, Pat? Hopefully she won't start barking, but we'll deal with it if she does. Okay, so we're just gonna, the ink that we're gonna add is this little Chisel 2.0 Unipin fine line pen. What I like about it is obviously it's a bit like the Fude pen. You're getting those variety of lines. So what I want to do is just make a start. I am just looking for the darkest areas really first, and just then this lets me use, you know, those darkest points. So basically looking for, so moving this across, just looking for those darkest areas, like underneath the tree here on that left hand side. And I really, with the, you know, I'm not looking to add in masses of information. It's just really providing a structure for what it is that we're doing together this morning. Minimalist line work is the way forward. Certainly in my world it is anyway. Okay, and we've got some, that's really very dark down here, moving into this area here. Okay, and then there's a couple of lines just across there. Now I've got my hair drying all ready because I really want to see how this does with the layering up aspect as well. Now I'm going to use my little stampers. If you've never seen me use these before, you're in for a treat or not. I'm calling, this is actually the Stranmillis area of Belfast, but we're just going to call it Belfast because Stranmillis takes a heck of a lot longer to find. And these little stampers are from Hobbycraft. They are £2 each, and I have used them for a number of years and love them dearly. And that little pad that I'm using was about £1, maybe less than £1 in the range in the UK. I don't know whether they're present anywhere else in the world, but it was a real fun. I think it was 89p actually, to be specific. and that wee pad has lasted me now for a few years. I don't mind spending money when I need to, but also, probably like the rest of you, if you don't need to, why would you bother? So we're nearly there. The other good thing is, not that that takes time for the ink to dry on the pen, but it just gives us those couple of moments as well. Okay, so that's that bit done. Pen work done. Right, now here comes the interesting bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually have this sitting up propped in front of me here so that I can see what sort of colors I'm actually dealing with, because I don't know this palette at all, and I don't know what this is going to be like. So I normally take 3 lifts of water. I'm using this smaller brush, so I'll take the 3 lifts of water. I'm going to take the russet, the autumn brown, which is, I know it's not autumn brown, it's russet, Colin. Keep forgetting this. And we're just going to see where this goes. See what this is going to look like. What I might do as well is I'm going to bring in some of that meadow. I'll mix some of the meadow in with the russet and see what happens. Now, I find that someone was telling me that whenever you're using acrylic, you're meant to flip you go dark first or light first. I tend to jump in with acrylic. Obviously, you have the option of adding in more and more, you know, light or dark on top, and that'll always succeed. But with watercolor, you're really layering up to try and find the shadows, so you can't really add in white unless you're going to use like the likes of a Tipex or something like that. Now the splatter's nice off those as well. These are strongly pigmented, so I'm going to take some more of that russet, and I'm going to take some of the autumn brown, and let's go down to the, now that's a little bit too ready for me now. Now where can we find a brown? What would be a good, I'm not really unfamiliar with this, which is probably quite a good thing to kind of demo how we might mix these. I'm going to add in more of that russet. Okay, and we're going to take this as the tones for, I'm very conscious of the stamper because at times I've swept across this and it is marked that, you know, really marked that area. So now that's very strong. Let's weaken that down a little bit. Just using, you can see I'm taking the brush at its corner point, which is where the detail is obviously, and then just turning it slightly to get that kind of idea of bit more stronger strokes, and wanting to give that idea of the, you know, the I was going to say the petals, but the leaves all over the ground. Now I'm going to add in some more of the russet to this, just to lighten it a little bit as we go towards this bit here. Now, what I love about the flicks is that the flicks inform the person looking that there's actually much more going on. Okay, and what I want to do then is take the greens. Now, let's have a look at these greens. So we've got the green grey, which is very, very dark. Let's see, the green grey was, let's go down. So that was obviously the last one, making this complicated for myself. So that's the green grey there, which isn't really, sorry, that was if that was off shot. I don't think it was. The green grey is actually really grey. It's not really very green. In fact, the slate green and the meadow green, the meadow green, actually, I should have used the meadow green. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back in, take the meadow green, just in looking at that little swatch, and look at that. That's causing that to really explode much more, and that's more the kind of thing that we're looking for. So I'm going to add in a good bit more of that, because the colors are really very all over the place, aren't they? Okay, and now this is, remember, this is layer 1. So layer 1, I have zero expectation for it to look like anything. And I'm going to take then the green, not the green grey, the slate green, which was lovely and vibrant.
Okay, that's a nice mix. And take some of the russet as well with that. Maybe you made it too much now. Take some of the meadow green as well. Okay, now we're heading more towards the sort of greens that we're looking for. Yeah, that's at least believable in some degree. Now, obviously, as I said at the start, these tones are going to be abstracted. Take the ocean blue to add in to try and make some sort of a difference to this. That's lovely, actually. We're getting there for the tones for that. For this area here, now this is the really dark area of it, where these it's like a big rhododendron. I don't know why you have them in part of the world you're in. I'm confident you do. And just using, like, looking at if you look at the leaves in this, let me pull this up a little closer for you. If you look at the leaves in this, the leaves are hanging down the way. So I try to kind of, from a logical point of view, nearly just let the brush go down that way as well. And then just varying that as well in different places too. And I'm going to pull that up into just certain areas. And actually, it'd be quite nice to let that bleed in some certain points, because you're finding that actual tone throughout. I'm starting to do a little bit more wet on wet. Not that I'm getting the page to the satin glimmer, as an artist has said, but it is taking it to it's using that technique to work well with the watercolor as well, which is good. So just mixed in a little bit of the aubergine there. Okay, and I'm actually going to take a little bit of the dark indigo as well. I'm going to mix it in too. Now, it feels like they're not that they're mixing wonderfully well together. I am a little bit shocked by that. I thought that the colors would be quite a bit more vibrant than what they are in the mixing. They seem to be getting quite kind of muddy. But then actually, if you look at the tonal range of the last lot here, they are that sort of earthy, muddy colors. So it's just trying to figure out, okay, so which ones are really going to help and bring out different tones. Okay, so the other thing is, I don't want it to look like, you know, when a child does you know, the spots of a leopard, and it's just, it's trying to not cause that to happen as well. Okay, so, and then we'll have that kind of a steely blue in different sections, just trying to, in some ways there's a bit of a pointillist technique I always find with when you're doing autumn scenes. Okay, so that's layer one. I'm going to dry that, and then we're going to come back and see how the next layer adds on. Okay, this is now dry. The other thing I want to say that is, when you're drying something with a hairdryer, it does do something to the pigment, and I know that many of you know that. So just to give you that warning. So I'm going to go back in with this, with the russet here, and we're going to see how this layers up. So I need to mix more of this, so it's gonna, this is just straight russet. Now the other thing that's nice is that this is actually warm now, so it is actually going to receive it quite well and probably dry it as we just apply it, which is quite nice, so you can move quite quickly. Now in the second layer, you will begin to see some depth. I'd say most paintings that I do end on the fourth or fifth layer, and we'll see how we go with this. This is just a demo to see how these are going to work together, and if they actually do layer up as well as one might think that they might, or would hope that they might. I'm going to add in a little bit of the meadow, a bit more of the meadow. Good thing is that it doesn't take much to get these activated. If you're into spritzing your little palette to get them kind of activated, you'll not really need to do much, because it really doesn't seem to take much agitation at all. Whereas when I was using the tinted charcoals by Derwent as well, they take quite a bit of agitation, and you really have to work at them. So if I was to go straight into those after this, that would be take a little reorientation really. Okay, now I want to go straight to this green again, see if we can get. So I'm just looking on the little swatch card that I have. Now the slate green again isn't as vibrant as you would think, so I'm going to take the meadow green and add it to it to see if we can jazz it up a little bit more. And then take some dark indigo, although it's very dark. Just really trying everything here to see. It's not really going anywhere. But is also again, you know, nothing's lost, and I think it is worth demoing this process, because this is the process that you're going to go through the same as me, to try and figure out and orientate yourself to this palette. This is not the usual palette that I use, so therefore it's going to take me time to get used to it, which I think is really helpful, because if you're thinking, goodness, I should have got this by now, no, it takes time. Now there's the ocean blue, look at that, pleased with that. So we're going to take ocean blue and we're going to take some of the meadow green, and there we go, there it is. That's what we were looking for all along. Now I'm going to take more of that ocean blue, I'm going to take more of the green to try and, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's much darker, which is what we wanted. We're wanting to make it, drag that across and make that darker in that area. So let's see, you can tell me what you think if these are layering up well. And actually they're almost quite opaque in certain areas. You want to use the brush more, maybe fully in certain areas. What I mean by that is, you know, bigger marks rather than just the corners. Let's see how that goes. The other thing that might be quite nice there is just that ocean blue. I'll take a little jot of that. Yeah, that's going to be quite nice there. It's adding in just a little bit more interest into the colours at those points. And actually, do you know what? You can totally overdo the flicks. I'm not overly keen the way that that landed there, but that's all right. Okay, so the russet then. Let's go back to the russet. The russet, look at that in isolation. The russet is so vibrant, so it must be, when you look at these separated out, aren't they so much more vibrant than the muddy mess that it ended up in the middle that I was working with? So that's better now. That's more the kind of color that we were looking for. The other thing is we can add little moments of that throughout here, just to cause little toady bits of accents. I love it when you get to the layers, because I think that actually, you know, for the painting that, you know, the amount of people, I've said this over and over again, the amount of people that I know that say, oh, you know, I overwork. It's not that they overwork, it's that they don't let it dry, and therefore they rob themselves of the great experience of what it means to get a watercolor to layer up. And I'm nervous to let those, I don't really want to let those bleed actually, so that's, I'm gonna just drop a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, so let's get this one dry and then we'll add on the third layer. Okay, now here we are at layer 3. That's all dry. Just pushing the masking tape down, you'll notice that it bubbles a little bit, but if you keep pressing the masking tape down, what it does is it continually tells it to stretch itself out again. Okay, so I want to try and get in the darker tone. So let's get this steel blue here. The Impressionists would be proud, because we're not wanting a black, we're wanting to use a darker kind of tone, which is really very successful and more dramatic than any of us thought there, but that's good. And also, one of the things to note is that when you add in shadow, it feels like the whole thing begins to pop, which is just a really, I find, a really enjoyable point of the painting. It just seems to just looking around here to see, okay, so where are these darkest points? Sorry if you saw the top of my head there. I was looking at another one of my videos and the top of my head featured much more than anybody would want to see the top of my head. Okay, and just, this is where the pen marks are really helpful as well, because it can give you that kind of idea as to where you have you know, placed some certain things. And this, some of these little bits of the tarmac are coming through. I don't know how successful this will be, but just using very gently the corner of the brush. I mean, this is the thing for me about the flat edge brush. I have no idea why it's not more celebrated, because it is just so darn versatile and so helpful whenever you're adding in detail, you know. Really, really good. And when you're doing big broad strokes as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is take some of this already mixed. Oh, goodness me. Did you see that? Did you see the brush mark go into the palette there? It was a little bit crazy. Did not expect that now. I'm going to take this then and add in, just taking good sways of the color. And hopefully you're beginning to feel that there's a nice build up happening here. And I really don't want to take forever doing this, nor bore you senseless by layer after layer of doing this. And normally I would take probably several episodes to try and do this, but I really wanted to demo these paints, to be able to kind of show them off for what they're able to do. Well, what I hope they would be able to do, because I've never actually tried them before. So am I pleased with them? Yeah, I think so. I think they act very much just like normal watercolor. The tones are nice and limited. I think it's a really helpful thing to limit your tones and to do things in a single tone. You know, I think it really forces you to explore and try different things. So I'm going to take some of that meadow green just on its own there. It's really very vibrant. So let's just see what it does. And adding just a couple of those marks, which is lovely. Yeah, I'm pleased with that too. Okay, and the last thing that I want to do then is I want to take that meadow green, because it's just got full of life there, and just add in a couple of areas. I'm holding the brush back because I'm looking for loose movement, and I'm not going to get loose movement if I hold it down here. It's going to be very, very hard to do. So I mean, all of these things, like, you know, if you're standing drawing, it's going to be different than if you're sitting down. If you hold the brush further back, it's going to be looser than it would be if you were holding it really close, where you're trying to get loads and loads of control. Okay. Okay, so there you are. There's my demo with the Graphitint Paint Pan Set by Derwent. I think it's really very interesting. I'm not getting that shimmer now off the cotton, but I know that the cotton's going to really draw in the it's really going to draw in the pigment as well. But I'm pleased with that, as it certainly is a first introduction into this. In comparison to the tinted charcoal, again, it's much brighter, and the addition of having particularly these three colors, the autumn brown, the russet, and the meadow, and was that other one was quite good as well, wasn't it? I think it was the ocean blue. Those vibrant colors then really just lift it all a little bit. And I'm glad also that I picked this autumn scene, because you know, it probably shouldn't work that well with this set, because it is more subdued and more sort of, you know, kind of earthy tones. But interested to see what you think of it. So there we are. There's Stranmillis in Belfast, just outside the Ulster Museum, in Graphitint Paint Pan Set. I used a 12 flat shader. Should have shown you that at the start. Another Daler Rowney from the Simply range. It's a number 12 flat shader, and then I had a little Chisel 2.0 pen by Unipin to just give me the basic structure.
Well, now there you go. Now I've just got the box. I haven't even got it closed. See how disorganized I am. The Graphitint Paint Pan Set by Derwent. Well, what did we think? What did you think? What did you think as you were watching me do it? I'll tell you my thoughts. And one of the biggest things for me was you can actually layer with these Graphitint, the Paint Pan Set. They layer really well, and I'm really pleased with that. When I used their tinted charcoal, I was pretty sad that you weren't able to layer them up, because so much of how I use watercolor is by layering up. So I can work with these. The first three tones, the autumn brown, russet and meadow, were the colors that allowed me to bring some vibrancy into the more earthy tonal range. So I was really grateful for that. What I want to highlight to you is whenever you've got something new, it takes so much time to get used to it, to orientate yourself with the color. I find that there's probably 2 or 3 colors that I use most of all. So it would take me much more time to get used to those. But I'm pleased with the final outcome. I thought it went well, and it is certainly an addition to any set, and actually quite not too expensive. At 21 pounds, it's a nice little set that you could keep in your sketching or whatever you call it, whether it's sketching or painting. Toby calls it sketching, I call it painting. Your little painting set, it might be added to the one I have in the car. So heartily recommend them. Think that they're great. Hope you enjoyed that video. Really interested to hear and, well, read your comments. I always appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who watches. It still amazes me that you find interest in hearing me go on about these things, but thank you for that. Do like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon. If having a one-on-one tutoring session is something that you would enjoy with me, then go to my website, which is woodwardswatercolors.co.uk. You'll find information about that. Also, if you're interested in a commission, please do knock on my door about that as well. And also there you'll find information about the 4 weekends that Toby and I are having together next year. We've got Bath in January, we've got Mavagissy in Cornwall in April. Got it on my list in front of me, so don't get it wrong. Then we've got Lower Slaughter in the Cotswolds in June, and then we're going to be in Belfast in October. So if that's something that you would be interested in, then do click on the link at my website and you'll find that. Now, they are filling up fast, which is amazing, the Toby and I, but if you're interested, you can get in on that. As always, do like and comment, all those things. I've said all that already. Do suggest any other videos that you would like to see. And I will see you on another episode of Woodward's Watercolors, when who knows what I will be doing next. Have a great day, and bye for now.